What's going on, guys? So I wanted to make this video for a while now. I started this hobby back in January, and it's probably been one of the most rewarding and fun hobbies I've probably ever had in my life. I'm gonna be 37 this year, and I've known about Gunpla for about 20 plus years. I just didn't think with my ADHD that I could sit through and build this type of stuff and get enjoyment out of it and fulfillment. I was wrong. I just took a chance. I bought a high grade Zaku 2, which is probably my top 3 favorite mobile suits of all time. I've been watching Gundam since I was 9 in the 90s, Gundam Wing, which most kids got introduced to Gundam through Gundam Wing in the 90s because of Toonami. But anyways, so I bought my first kit in January, and it took me about 5 hours. You know, I was overwhelmed at first. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much here. And boy, was I in for a treat, because high grade kits are probably almost bottom of the barrel when it comes to skill. You have entry grade, and then you have no grades, and then you have high grades, which pretty much are almost all the same in terms of build quality. Some are a little bit more detailed for high grades as opposed to entry grades and no grades, but you know, that all depends on the person, I guess, opinion. But a lot of high grades are very detailed, especially nowadays. I've done so much research and studied so much about Gundam and Gunpla and the history, and you know how it all started just in the 70s, and it just never stopped. It's one of the longest toy lines in history, and millions of people love it. I mean, and it's growing even more exponentially popular right now. A lot of that had to do with COVID 5 years ago, and people didn't have anything to do, so they started buying model kits, and they got really heavy in the Gundam. And I just was in electric vehicles back then, so I didn't really like give it a thought. If I would have thought about it then, I probably would have stopped gaming a little bit more and probably picked up some kits to do, and I would have started building 5 years ago. But here we are now. So I guess what I want to talk about is, I mean, I've been doing this since January again, and there's a lot of stigma around, I guess, what the community calls knockoffs, bootlegs, third-party kits. Now me, I had no idea about any of that until I got into the hobby in January, and then as the months progressed, I started figuring out that, okay, you know, Bandai stopped producing a lot of Gunpla, so Chinese companies or Indonesian companies, and I believe there's some Thai and Korean companies, maybe, I believe, that stepped up, but mostly China, to reproduce kits that have been retired. So I guess there's a lot of stigma behind knockoffs and bootlegs and third party, which some third parties are originals and they're amazing. In my collection behind me, I have a lizard. I also have a it's kind of, I guess if you guys have seen Hathaway, the Mesmer, that the Xeon pilot pilots into the colony, or excuse me, on Earth. Excuse me, yeah, he's on Earth. And you know, there's a third-party build kit back there for that, and it's pretty cool. There was a Mesmer produced years ago from the research I've done, but Bandai discontinued it. And you know, these guys stepped up and they made a massive. I mean, this thing is bigger than the Bandai Burka Sazabi. And I have 2 of those in my collection. I haven't built them yet, but so anyways, I guess what I wanted to say is, I mean, I buy bootleg, as well as, if you see behind me, I've got a massive wall of Gunpla that are Bandai as well. But you can see some of those boxes back there that are bootlegs and knockoffs and third party. But I believe that, this is my opinion, that bootleg is necessary. Knockoffs are necessary. One, Bandai refuses to reprint old kits and a lot of people missed out on those, and you have to spend hundreds of dollars. I mean, I've spent hundreds of dollars on a few of these kits that Bandai just won't produce anymore. And then Premium Bandai, which is America's version of Bandai, they're really expensive. I mean, I bought 4 kits. I have 5 more coming from them. Yeah, those are like a minimum of even to, there'll be like a $40 or $30, but $20 shipping fees. So I mean, like, that's still $50 a kit, $55 a kit, up to what I paid $100 for one that's coming next month, and I have $100 for another one. That cost me, yeah, $110 altogether. Plus I have a bunch of Zaku 2s that are coming that are master grade. I love master grade. Those are all were $50 to $65 each after taxes and shipping, $80 to $95 each. So there is a spot for bootlegs. Explicitly, excuse me. I'm speaking of AliExpress. I get most of my bootlegs and knockoffs and third parties from AliExpress. I use Temu. Sometimes they have good deals if you guys want to check out Temu. But they're not listed as mobile suits. Temu is a very word specific app. And you kind of have to like go in there. You have to know what you're looking for to get kits off of Temu. But once you find the mobile suits on there, it's a lot easier to get back into the categories because it'll be recents, and once you purchase something from Temu, it saves you in the algorithm like, hey, you should buy this, we got this deal, check it out. But AliExpress, I get a lot of kits from there. Like, I probably have maybe 6 not 60, I think maybe like 30 to 40. But I mean, I paid the minimum I've ever paid for a kit on there is $5, and I have them in my collection built. And people will sit and knock on that, and I see the people in the forums, Reddit, videos like trashing knockoffs, trashing third party, trashing bootleg, and I get it. There's a conversation to be had about copyright infringement and stealing someone's intellectual property and printing it for yourself, but like most things, if the company provided these kits, then there would be no room for third-party bootleg companies and knockoff companies to come in and fill that void. Perfect example, I paid, I think $30, $35 for Shin Matsunaga White Wolf Gunpla kit, and one of the pieces was broken. And instead of me buying another Bandai kit, paying another $30 plus shipping, I went on AliExpress and I found this same exact kit made by GTO, if you guys know who they are, for $9, and that's this kit right here. And yeah, I mean, it's literally the same exact kit, but it comes with the actual purple and yellow Heat Hawk. My Bandai version did not come with it, and it's advertised on the box, which is kind of, to me, it's kind of false advertisement. And I'm not going to sit here and bash Bandai because, I mean, they're the reason I'm even in this hobby, because I had no idea about bootlegs, knockoffs, or any of that stuff until I got into this hobby. But yeah, so I mean, like, this was a $9 kit, $11 plus shipping. People keep saying that the shipping from China is going to be crazy, but you know, the tariffs and this, the tariff that. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Bandai. I mean, what more can you ask for? It's got water slides, stickers, and I will say this. This kit did come with more water slides than the Bandai one. And I know there's a lot of stigma behind water slides, and you know, they're hard to put on, but I mean, like most things, you have to just practice. You know what I mean? Like you gotta practice. Like most things, you gotta practice, and practice makes perfect. And excuse me, I didn't even realize that my volume was gone. Also, anyways, back to what I was saying. Anyways, so I got this for $8, $9, $12, $11 after shipping. I also have a Witch from Mercury Gushion or Gushin. I got this for $10. It was $11.50 with shipping. And I mean, I opened it up. It looks just like the Bandai version. Same thing with the runners. I also purchased for $35 as a pre-order a out of the box, because there are a lot of kits that don't come in the box. And out of the box Gundam Hazel. And if you purchase if you purchase AliExpress kits, a lot of them will say no box on them. I believe that cuts back on shipping. And also, I'm guessing it helps with copyright, because they're not reproducing the art. Now, GTO is usually, from the research I've done, a 1-to-1 when they do kits from Bandai. So GTO is pretty well known by Bandai, I'm guessing, as well. But they've also done kits a lot better than Bandai up till recently. So I mean, I'm not saying when they start. I guess when they started out, they weren't that great, but they're pretty much 1-to-1s now of Bandai clones. Cool. Again, that doesn't bother me though. Like, and I wish that people and elitists would understand that, you know, some people are on a budget. If you want a budget build and you want a budget collection, I mean, these Chinese companies are giving people that opportunity, because a lot of Bandai kits are expensive. You go to Hobby Lobby on 40% off week, and you can get kits that are $25 for like $12, $13, and kits that are like $80 for like $60. But for some people, that's a lot of money. You know, where you can go on AliExpress and grab a master grade for $20, $25, $30, 31 plus tax, with shipping is $32. And I probably spent over $2,000 off. I mean, and I'm not saying that to like brag. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that to brag or anything. I'm saying that as that's how much I've spent with AliExpress, because I like the kits. Now I've spent way more on that collection behind me. Most of that is my Bandai collection back there, and I've probably spent way more than that, probably triple that. But yeah, I mean, like, this is what the books look like. This is the Hazel book. And it looks quality. Like I'm not gonna sit here. I can't sit here and bash it. I don't know enough about this to know if it's bad quality or not, you know. I will say this, with some of my kits that I've gotten from AliExpress, there have been missing parts, absolutely, from these companies. But I've gotten on the horn with them, and I've messaged them, and they've emailed me, and they've sent me replacement kits fully. And they made sure that the parts were in the kits, and they told me to keep the other kit. That's happened to me about 4 times now. 4 times? Yeah, out of all the kits I bought, only 4 kits have come without parts. And that's good customer service quality to me. Even though it's like, probably to them, like, oh, $10, whatever. What's $15? What's $20? But to us, I mean, people like me, people like you, people who are on the budget, that's good quality assurance right there, man. And that's good customer service, in my opinion. But I say this: if you don't have a lot of money, you want to get into the hobby, go on AliExpress, download the app, download Temu, look for cheap kits. These are also kits that you can learn to scribe and customize and paint and brush paint and do whatever you want with. Like, why buy an expensive kit for $40 and practice mutilating it and then you're left with something that's you don't like and something you don't want to look at, something you want to throw out. When you can go buy a $10 Zaku knockoff, bootleg, whatever you know, and experiment with those. I mean, at the end of the day, what you have just a $10 ugly piece of art and a toy that you built, or you can go spend $30-$40 and then be upset that you just wasted your money, plus bought paint, plus bought an airbrush, plus bought, you know, brushes and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and then you're annoyed. You're out $100 basically for everything, and $150 for everything, and then you're like, what the heck was this all even for? So, yeah, I say get on AliExpress, Temu, get those cheap kits, build them, get comfortable with them. Then what? If you have the money to splurge, move up to expensive Bandai kits, because at the end of the day, Bandai, the newer Bandai is great. I mean, for everything I've done, all the research I've done, all the people I've talked to, all the groups I've talked to, from my own builds, Bandai is great quality, especially now more than ever. I'm planning on. I pre-ordered the new Gundam Perfect Grade. I have an Unleashed back there. I have an Exia. I've got a Mark II. I've got Sky Defender. I've got a bunch of Perfect Grades back there, and I can't wait to build them. So if you have people saying, "Hey, knockoffs are bad," You're trash if you support knockoffs. You know, just tell those people, like, look, it's my money. I can do what I want with it. And I encourage you guys to do it. Go out there, buy cheap kits, build those cheap kits, experiment with those cheap kits. What are you going to lose? You know what I mean? Like, what, $10, $12, $15, whatever, you know? Some people, that's a lot of money, but if you're getting this hobby, then you got $10 to blow, I think. So at the end of the day, guys, as they say, I guess the motto is Gunpla is freedom. And I encourage that freedom. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me a comment, like, subscribe for more Gunpla content. This is everyday Gunpla. My next build, the Gushion. So stay tuned for the shorts. Stay tuned for more videos. Hope you guys have a good day.